Hello YouTube, this is CyberKnight 8610, bringing you an HD worm discussion. I decided to go ahead with worms. I know no one really requested it, but I've been thinking about making a deck around them yet again. I've kind of thought about it, then didn't make the deck, and now I'm thinking about it yet again. And probably will this time, especially since in the Gold Series there's going to be a few common worms, the dual terminal worms. And since in the dual terminal number 2, I believe there's supposed to be a bunch of new worms, so that's pretty cool as well. Alright, oh yeah, and I won't be doing a Watt discussion. I know someone wanted one, but I could not think of anything to really talk about on the Watts. And, so, I might do that even, at another time or something. And if anyone wants me to do a discussion over a certain archetype, please leave that in the comments. Alright, I'm going to try to go through this kind of fast because, last time I made this video, I went way over my time limit. Alright, Worm Apocalypse. He's kind of a... I'm not going to say the stars and all that kind of stuff. You guys should be able to see all that. He's a pretty cool card, flip him up to destroy one spell or trap. So he's pretty neat. I really like him. I like the art. I think it's kind of funny. Worm Arrowkin. It's a secret rare version we got. And he cannot be special summoned once per turn. You can select one face-up reptile, tap more monster on the field, and change it to face-down defense. So that's kind of interesting. If he was 4 stars, he'd be a bit better. Lower attack and a 4-star monster, he'd be better. But it's an alright card. I don't know. He's kind of being outclassed now, though, by the other worms that come out later, which hopefully us in the TCG will get soon. Worm Kerasis, you can flip him up and add one level 4 lower reptile type worm monster from your deck to your hand. He's the search engine pretty much of the deck, and he's pretty interesting. He's kind of the staple, I guess you could say, or he is a staple. Worm Goals, another interesting one. You can kind of see its name right there. It's kind of over for some reason. I guess I forgot to center it. Each time a face-down defense position monster is flipped face-up, place one worm counter on this card. This card gains 300 attack for each worm counter on it. So that's a pretty interesting card. It comes in handy a lot in the game, the 2010 game, because I use worms on there. So it comes in handy, but it's sort of like with Kerasis, or however you pronounce it. It's one of those that kind of got outclassed by the newer ones. Worm Elden. I couldn't find an American image of the other, that one in goals. So I went ahead and just put the Japanese versions. His ability is each time a card is set on your side of the field, you can place one worm counter on this card. You can remove 2 worm counters from this card to destroy one card your opponent controls. An interesting strategy I've heard used with him is like Scrap Iron Scarecrow, which might come in handy actually. So he's probably my favorite of all the worms. Really cool. I really like the art of him. He looks like a beetle kind of thing going on. And it's just, I don't know, pretty interesting card. I really like using him. He comes in handy a lot. He's like our Celestia for worms. Worm King. It's really hard to read and all the way they have that holographic. So I wrote down what its ability is and everything. This card can be tribute summoned in face-up attack position by tributing one reptile worm monster. You can tribute one reptile worm monster to select and destroy one card your opponent controls. So that's pretty interesting. You might just want to have only one of him. Worm Zero, the Chimera tech for worms, basically. It's really interesting. The fuse for it, you need 2 or more worm type monsters. And his attack becomes the number of different fusion material monsters times 500. So if you use one, you have to use at least 2. So 2 times 500 is 1,000, and so on and so forth. Here's his ability. This card gains the following effects based on number of different fusion material monsters used. 2 or more, once per turn you can special summon a reptile type monster from the graveyard in face down defense position. 4 or more, you can remove one reptile monster from your graveyard and send one monster on the field to the graveyard. 6 or more, once per turn you can draw one card from your deck. So that's a pretty interesting card. Artwork looks kind of weird. It's like a cocoon thing over a city. So it's pretty interesting. I don't know. I would consider him a staple once he comes out, and I really hope we get him pretty soon because it's pretty mean. I mean, it is probably one of the cards that could put the worms in the metagame because it's pretty interesting. Use it with Future Fusion, and I don't know. It could really help out. Worm Solid. You could probably combo him with Worm Zero as well, his ability, and I will read it right now. This card gains defense equal to the number of reptile worm monsters in your graveyard times 100. If your opponent takes battle damage by attacking this card, destroy one spell or trap card they control at the end of the damage step. So it's pretty interesting to put it face down the field, and if like you had Worm Zero out beforehand, have a bunch of worms in your graveyard, then he goes up pretty fast in defense, and you can, you know, pretty much stop any attack, just about, with most monsters. Worm Victory, it's the last one I wanted to go over. He's pretty interesting as well. I am not too sure when we're getting him. You can flip him up to destroy all face-up monsters on the field other than worm monsters, and this card gains 500 attack for each worm-type monster in your graveyard. Another one you could combo with Solid and Zero. Pretty interesting, and you can see worms too as another type of being more of the face-down and stalling type. You can see them as being the more milling thing, like the last three are kind of more of the mill kind of thing going on. And it's just so many different ways you can kind of use these, and that's what I really like about dual terminal monsters, because I don't know, it just seems like none of them are really that useless. As an archetypes wise. I mean, I know there's a few cards here and there just like, why'd they make it? But they're pretty interesting, and that's what I like about worms. They are like the enemies of the Allied Justice too, which is neat. And so, what do you guys think about these? When we get the rest of them, do you think they could even make it in the meta? Like at least tier 2. I know it's probably not going to be tier 1. And or could they just be combined with another archetype already out? Infernities, Lightsworn, Blackwings, what do you think? I think they're pretty interesting. I could probably see them going to tier 2 and maybe with a little bit of Lightsworn, maybe a milling like that. Or just kind of on their own being more of a stall deck. Maybe. That might be more just for fun though too. I don't expect to see a whole lot of them, because they are going to be outclassed, especially with Infernities right now. Infernities are going to be crazy until hopefully Bandlist will smack them down a few levels too. And when the Fabled's coming out, that's really going to hurt just about every deck out there. So yeah, like I said, just put in the comments what you guys think. Doesn't matter how long you subscribe to me. I want to hear your opinion. Everyone's opinion counts, and no one attack another person for their opinion on their, that is their opinion. Also, I'm still trying to get dual videos. A friend that's planning on making them is just really busy at the moment, so I was thinking, if there's anyone out there that would like to make a few dual videos for me, contact me, send me a message, and I can, it can really help out your channel as well, and give you a shout out. And hopefully, we can both get a few more subscribers from this. So yeah, just send me a message. Don't upload the duels, though, to your channel. You can only upload them to mine, because then it would be copyright and all that stuff. So, it's one of those things. So yeah, if you want any more info on that, please send me a message. If you have any questions about anything, send me a message. And in the comments, like I said, please talk about the worms. And if you have any ideas for future contests, future videos, future discussions, let me hear what you have to say. Alright, and I think that's everything. Bye, YouTube.